Going to be working on adding and subtracting of decimals. So I'm going to read this problem. It says there are 2 and 2 liters of water in a jug. 1 and 6 liters of more water is added. How many liters of water is now in the jug? So we're going to be adding 2 and 2 of a liter and 1 and 6 of a liter of water together. So before we do that, I want to show you this page, and I want to go over our ones, tenths, and hundredths. So I'm going to be using base 10 blocks to be adding this. So let's go ahead. Let's start with this one. Sorry, I'm going to go with this page first. So I'm going to start off with my 2 and 2 tenths. So I'm for sure going to use my base 10 blocks here. So how many hundredths do I have? Well, I have 2. So I'm going to put my 2 hundredths right. Those are my 2 hundredths. And I have 2 tenths. So I'm going to put my 2 tenths here. 2 tenths. And I'm going to be adding 1 and 6 tenths. So I'll be adding 1 whole. And then I will be adding 6 tenths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll be adding 6 tenths. So here I'm going to put this into the decision pile. Do we see here that we have little squiggly lines here? Well, this is the decision pile. So I'm going to start off with my lowest place value, which is my tenths. So I'm going to grab all my tenths and I'm going to put it here to the decision. And I'm going to count how many tenths do I have. And do I have enough to make it into another flat? So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 tenths. Is that enough to make 1 whole? No, it's not enough to make 1 whole, so I leave it as is. So I bring this down. Here, I have 3 ones. I am only going to stick there. I have 1, 2, 3. So that just shows that I have 3 and 8 tenths. So when I add my numbers, I have 2 and 2 tenths, and I'm going to be adding 1 and 6 tenths. Well, when I bring that all down, I have 8 here, and I have 3 here, which makes my final answer 3 and 8 tenths. So you have to remember that the number one key to adding and subtracting our decimals is to make sure that decimal always stays in line. So let's go ahead and find another one. Now we have our next question. It says Stephen went to the H-E-B with his parent. Stephen spent 16 cents on a gum and 23 cents on a lollipop. How much did Stephen spend? So let's go ahead and do that. So we're trying to combine 16 cents and 23 cents. So first off, with this here, I know that he started off with 16 cents. So I have no whole dollars, so I'm not going to be using any flats. I'll be using 1 rod because I have 1 in the tenths place. So 1 rod goes here. And then for my units, I have, how many units? I have 6. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 6 out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have my 6 units. So this right here represents 16 hundredths or 16 cents. He spent that on a gum, but he also spent 23 cents on a lollipop. So I'm going to add here. I have 1 rod, 2 rods because I have 2 in the tenths place. And then I'm going to add my 3 units because it's 23 hundredths or 23 cents. Now here, same thing. I need to keep these in line. All my hundreds need to stay with my hundreds, all my tenths with my tenths, and my and my ones with my ones. But obviously we don't have any ones right now, so we don't have to worry about that. So again, we're going to start with our lowest place value, and that is my hundredths. So I'm going to bring all this into decision making to see if we can replace this with a rod. Now I want us to remember, how many units do I need to make 1 rod? I need 10. So let's see if we have that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9. Is that enough to change into a rod? No, it is close. We needed 1 more to make 1 rod. So this will then go down here. Then here, I'm going to combine my 2 rods and my 1 rod. And how many do I have together? I have 1, 2, 3. Is this enough to make into a flat? No. To make a flat, I need 10 rods and I only have 3. So finally, we bring this down and I can see here that I have 3 and 9 three tenths and 9 hundredths. So I have 39 hundredths. So it's as if I were to use my marker here. I started off with 20. Oh, sorry, I started off with 16 tenths, but I'm going to go here. 16 tenths, 16 hundredths, and 23 hundredths. But remember, I need to keep it lined up. Everything in my tenths needs to stay there. I'm going to combine here. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9. So this brings down a 9. Is this enough to make into a rod? No. So this goes down here. Here I have 2 and 3. 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Is that enough to make it to a flat or to a hole? No, it is not. So I bring that down. And I do not forget to include my decimal point here. So my final answer would be 39 cents or 39 hundredths. Now, without a word problem, I'm going to go ahead and want to combine two different numbers. So I want to combine 1 and 4 tenths with 0 and 8 tenths. So here, even if I were to do it this way, I need to make sure my numbers are lined up. So let me go ahead and still do that with my base 10 blocks here. So I have 1 and 4 tenths. So I'm going to put one hole here. And I have 4 tenths, meaning I have 4 rods. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my 4 rods. Now I'm going to add 8 tenths, which is 8 rods. So I'm going to go ahead. Put 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me make sure this stays together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have my 8 here. So now I need to start off with my lowest place value, and that is my 10. So I'm going to bring all of these rods down. And I need to figure out, do I have enough to make it into one flat? Now, how many do I need to make one flat? That's right, I need 10 rods. So let's see, how many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, just with that, I know I have 10 rods and I have a few left over. So I know this I can exchange for a flat. So I'm going to put this to the side. And I'm now going to add a flat right here. So I know that I'm adding 1. Now, I have 2 rods left over. Are these 2 rods enough to make a flat here? Nope. So these come down. Now, I'm going to bring what I have originally with what I had to regroup. And now I have 2. Is that enough to make into a tenth? No. So I bring that down. So I have 2 and 2 tenths. So let's work that out on a piece of paper. So this is my tenth. And this is my 1s. And remember, I keep everything aligned. This is my 10s here. I'm going to put a line here. And I need to make sure I already include that decimal because remember, we line them up. 4 plus 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I put a 2 and I carry the 1. Did we see how we did that earlier? I had 2 remaining tenths, so I put them here. And I had 1 regroup, so I put a flat on top. Now I can add here. 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 2. So I have 2 and 2 tenths. Now let's try addition by using these, not using our base 10 blocks anymore. So let's try something different. So let's say I had $2.04. So I know if I have $2.04 that I have 2 1s. Put my decimal here. I don't have any tens because I have 4 cents only, and this is 4 hundredths. And I want to spend another 36 cents. So I have a 0 and 36. So I have 3 tenths and 6 hundredths, and I'm going to add these together. So again, we always start off with our hundredths. So I'm going to make my decision and bring it down here. So I am going to have 6 plus 4. What is 6 plus 4? Well, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is exactly 10. So do I have enough to make one flat? Yes, I do. So I'll have another flat here. I'm sorry, another flat, a rod here. And here, am I going to have any leftover hundreds? No, so this just becomes a 0. Now I have 3/10, including one that we had from our hundredths. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Do I have enough to make it to a flat? No, I do not, so I just bring that 4 down. Now I look at my ones. I have 2 and I have 0. 2 plus 0 is just 2, so I'm doing 2 plus 0. Well, that together is just 2. And I cannot forget to include my decimal, because remember, my decimal stays in a line. So I have 2 and 4/10. Let's try a new problem. I'm going to go a little advanced. So I'm going to try, and I'm going to draw one out. I'm going to have my 1, my 10, and my 100. Perfect. So I'm going to start off by having 2 and 76 hundredths. So I have 76 hundredths. And I am then going to add 1 and 38 hundredths. So right here is going to be my decision when I bring everything down to see if I have any to regroup. So I'm going to bring down my 6 and 8. So if I had 6 units and 8 units, how many units would I have total? Well, 6 plus 8 is 14. So I have 14. So I'm doing 6 plus 8, and that is equal to 14. So I have 14 here. Do I have enough to make it into a rod? Yes, all I need is 10. So I'm going to put 1 here, so I'm adding 1 here. How many do I have left over? Just 4. So 4 makes it into the end. Now here, I have 7 plus 3 plus 1. Now what is that equal to? Well, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I come up with 11. Do I have enough to make it a flat? All I need is 10, so do I have enough? Yep, so I'm going to add 1 here. And I am now only going to have 1 left over. So I'm going to put a 1 here. Now I'm going to look right here. I have 2 plus 1 plus 1. Well, let's see. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is, so I have 1 plus 2 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4. Cannot forget to bring down my decimal. So I have 4 and 14 hundredths. So let's show that again with our base 10 blocks. So here, how many units do I have? Well, I start off with only having 6. So I'm going to get my 6 here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have my 6 here. Now I am going to be adding 8. So I'm going to put my, so there I have my 6 and 8. So I'm going to combine them together just like we did here. So I'm going to combine them together. Now here we said we had 14. So let's check. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I do have 14. Now how many do I need to make a rod? That's right, 10. So I'm going to get 10. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 and this becomes a rod, so I can just replace that. And this is now going to be a rod added right on top. Now how many units do I have still left over? 4. Now that's why I have my 4 here. I still have 4 left over. Now let's look at my 10. So how many 10s do I have? I have 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I need to include my 1 more to that. So I have 7 here, and I put 8. Now for the bottom, I am including 3. So I have 1, 2, 3. Again, I need to put this into the decision-making category to check how much I have and if that creates a flat. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to put them all together. And now I'm going to count. So let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11. Do I have enough to make that into a flat? All I need is 10, right? And I had 11. So let me go ahead and do that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'll have a 1 left over, just as I have it shown here. So this I'm going to replace with a flat. So I'll put it up there, and that's why I have plus 1. So here, now let's go to our ones. I have how many ones? I have 2 flats here, and I have 1 down here. So I'm going to combine these together, and I have 1, 2, 3, adding the 1, and that is 4. So here I have a visual demonstration that I have 4 ones, 1 tenths, and 4 hundredths. So this is going to be 4 and 14 hundredths. 1 tenths, 4 hundredths. Now let's look at subtraction. So I want to come up with a problem where I have 8 tenths and I'm taking away 5 tenths. So I'm going to write 8 tenths minus 5 tenths. So I start off with 8 tenths, so I'm going to put 8 tenths on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have no hundredths or no flats. So I bring this already down to my decision making. I bring this down here, and how many do I have to take away? 5 tenths. So let's take away 5 tenths. I have 1 taken away, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, so I have 5 taken away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 taken away, and I only have 3 left over. So here, I will bring this down, and I only have 3 tenths.